feel like you've got no identity, you're a nobody. No one cares, no one gives a fuck, you know?
When we think of homelessness, many people think it's a metropolitan problem. But the reality is, around half the cases occur in regional Australia. In places like Tamworth in northeast New South Wales, it has some of the richest farming land in the country, yet some of the poorest postcodes.
There's no one out there to help you, not in places like this.
Homeless numbers in this region have doubled in the past 5 years, and many say it's at the forefront of a hidden homeless crisis.
But I usually stay right here on the stage. I'm born to be on the stage, I am. This is where they originally had the country music festival live show every night. Mickey Blue and all his Uluru goes. And it's my meagre possessions that I own. Yeah, basically this is it. There are a lot more homeless people than the general public realise. I mean, not everyone comes and stays in a public place like I've done. Most people will hide away because of the shame of being homeless.
There's like a lot of people who just walk past you, think you're an old whiner, you know, spend your money on grog. I don't drink. No, that's all I drink is water out of the tap.
Do you reckon that's a common misconception?
That our homeless people are all drunks, or all alcoholics or drug addicts? Yeah, very much so. I've been homeless probably majority of my adult life other than being in jail. Jail probably was the biggest impact in me being homeless, yeah.
Bit of wild ox, a bit of everything, this one.
Probably 90% of the guys that are on the street have been in prison because they don't fit into society and they don't feel like they do, they don't feel like they're good enough, they've always been told they're no good.
Once you get in the hole, it's real hard to dig yourself back out, real hard. And that's why a lot of people just give up. You've got to start again. And if you've got no one there to help you out, you end up like I am. Yeah.
There has to be somewhere between becoming homeless and going to jail or going down that path, you know, on the spiral.
There is a lack of support and housing for single men.
Tanya manages one of the few homeless support services in Tamworth.
Yes, our service is strained. We have 5 properties that we can support men or men with children, but we get so many more requests from that.
Housing's really awkward to get into, especially if you've got a pass. In case of emergency, in case something happens to me, my mum's phone number. And just keep swimming. It's out of the Dory movie. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. And I was homeless for 4 months, and it was due to domestic violence. And most of the time, just me and my son just slept in the car. This is our home. We had our dog in the car too. It had the front seat. Tristan had the back, and I'd have the front. You just do what you got to do. You know, like to stay dry, really.
Any one of us could become homeless at any stage in our life, you know, depending on the supports that we have around us.
Where Tamworth has limited homeless support, the Northern Rivers coastal region is much better equipped, but it's struggling to keep up with the growing demand from the most vulnerable of homelessness victims: youth.
I was living homeless for about 2 months. Mainly stayed at like my friend's house and stuff like that. There's lots of kids in similar situations to mine, but a lot worse than mine, and you don't realise how many of them actually are homeless or sleeping on the street.
In the last decade, the number of homeless 19 to 24-year-olds has increased by 46%. In New South Wales, it's more than doubled.
Accommodation's a big thing for people because they can get food, but they just can't get anywhere to sleep.
I get a call a day for people seeking accommodation.
Paul runs the Winsome. It provides food and accommodation for the homeless. He's running at capacity.
We haven't had a vacancy here for 3 months. It's gut-wrenching to have to turn people away because you know that they're going to be sleeping out on the street.
With vacancy rates around 1%, the Northern Rivers is one of the most challenging rental markets in the country.
The demand for rental accommodation is so huge, you can't get accommodation for under $200 a week. And somebody who's on Newstart, there's just no way in the world they can afford it. There's been hardly any new construction of social housing in the Northern Rivers or even New South Wales since 2008, and it's been stagnant for 30 years.
So to kids like Dylan, homes are not only scarce, they're pretty much unobtainable.
You have to be 18 years old to sign a contract. Yeah, there's quite a few young people I talk to and they go, there's nothing I can do, I can't get a house, they can't move me into to anywhere. You know, I don't know anyone, I'm stuck, and then they're just stuck. They just have to stay on the street till they're 18, which is even worse. You know, like they can't do anything.
Dylan is one of the lucky ones. He's just found a house.
10 years time, I'd like to have a full-time job. I'd actually like to be a manager, maybe at Big W or Kmart, or doing something in sport.
But for Mick and Coco, they remain in limbo.
It's impossible. Impossible to get in a house. You ain't got enough money to do it. Even a house commission, you've got to have 2 weeks bond.
It's not that we don't get enough money on the dole, it's just that housing is very hard to get, it's very expensive, and a lot of people that have been homeless, they have never rented on their own, so they don't have any references. So it's hard to get a look in the door, you know. There's a hand here, bruv. The police came about 7:30 this morning and informed us that the council wishes us to move on because we can't live in a public place apparently. So someone's told me I can have a cupboard at their house to put my stuff in, but I'm still homeless. Fuck no.
My fear is living like this for the rest of my life. Yeah. And the biggest fear is, and it's not a fear because it is right, there's no one out there to help you. Not in places like this.
I'll be sleeping rough tonight. I just have to find a safe spot where I can roll my swag out and yeah. There's hope. Where there's life, there's hope. There's always hope, even for people like me.